If I stumble a little while reading this, it's because in the originally published version of this essay, which was in Brainchild, I used my husband, and I told him, get over yourself. Yeah, it's about your vasectomy, but you know, we have different last names, and I'm only using your first name. It's a small magazine. Who's going to put two and two together? Well, suffice it to say, someone did put two and two together, and it was a colleague of his. And so he made me promise that tonight it would just be my husband, not his name. So. This is called the Snip. Uh-oh. Can I get, I can't really, be a little light. Let's see. Great. The grandmotherly woman with the Minnie Mouse lapel pin doesn't blink an eye when we ask for the video. She coochie-coos the baby strapped to my chest, then leads my husband and me past shelves of health books and racks of earnest pamphlets, over to a small curtained cubicle in the corner of our HMO's Wellness Resource Center. Here you go, she says, with a professional smile, plucking our request from a nearby shelf. We step inside, draw the curtain, and insert the video cassette. We're ready. Well, one of us is ready anyway. He presses play. The screen brightens, and a scene of suburban domesticity appears. Imagine Brad and Janet, the naive protagonists of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, 10 years later. Brad, still geeky, wears tan, too short swim trunks that expose his skinny white legs as he splashes in the backyard pool with his two wholesome blonde daughters. Janet, her hair now showing a touch of bleach, turns from her seat under the patio umbrella to gaze adoringly at her husband. We hear Brad's nasal, whiny voiceover. For Janet and me, vasectomy was the right choice. Inside the darkened cubicle at the resource center, my husband and I giggle. We're here because before granting a man an appointment to see the urologist, much less allowing him to take the irrevocable step of curtailing his fertility, our HMO requires him to watch a video about it. So, with our 7-month-old second and last child squirming in our laps, we watch Brad and Janet walk into the doctor's office to discuss the big V. The physician, henceforth referred to as Dr. Toupee, smiles reassuringly at the couple from behind an imposing desk as he explains the procedure. Doctor, Brad inquires diffidently, glancing at Janet, will this have any effect on our sexual intercourse? Dr. Toupee clasps his pudgy fingers together and assumes a grave expression in acknowledgement of the seriousness of Brad's concern. Not at all, he reassures. There may be a slight reduction in the amount of fluid contained in each ejaculation, and the ejaculate will no longer contain sperm, of course. Your experience of intercourse will be unchanged. Janet nods, trying to look worldly, as if she hears the word ejaculate used as a noun on a daily basis. Brad gives her a tight smile. My husband and I gasp. The camera follows Brad to the doctor's office, where he arranges himself impassively on the medical equivalent of a lazy boy recliner. The nurse covers him with a blue drape. Dr. Toupee approaches with a syringe. Now, you'll feel just a little prick, he says blandly. My husband and I are beside ourselves. Oh my God, did he actually say little prick? I guess. We feel like a couple of 9th graders watching a sex ed presentation. On screen, Brad makes it through the surgery, walks gingerly out to his car, and goes home to sit stoically on the couch with an ice pack. In the final scene, the family is relaxing in the tastefully appointed living room. The kids play while Brad and Janet nestle on the couch, beaming at each other in a manner that makes it clear they've got no problems in that department. We get the message. Vasectomy is no big deal. Except that it is. Our 2 children frequently overwhelm us. We can imagine all too well another round of diapers, nursing marathons, sleepless nights, and the constant vigilance of life with a toddler. It's a vision that makes us tremble. So why do I feel ambivalent at the prospect of permanently closing the door on our fertility? It doesn't trouble my husband in the slightest. I would have done this years ago if I hadn't met you, he reminds me. And it's true. When we met, my husband had no intention of having children, ever. That we are the parents of two is a tribute to marital negotiation and compromise. I refrain from asking if he's glad now that he didn't get the snip back then. We're in the thick of things with 2 under 5, and there are days when I know exactly what his answer would be. I have those days myself, the days when my patience is stretched so thin I start to wish I were a spare the rod, spoil the child fundamentalist instead of a supposedly pacifist Quaker. The days when the frustration of not being able to do what I want when I want tempts me to get in the car and leave. Adding another child, another baby, to our family is unthinkable. But I do think about it. The few times we've been careless, and each time my period's late, a flicker of anticipation stirs in me. I imagine the thrill of being pregnant again, the pervading excitement and expectation of those 9 months, the drama of birth. Conveniently, I don't dwell on the next 18 years.